All right. Gentlemen, how are we doing? Carbon on mute. I see he's being a bit rusty there. Oh, there you go. Just checking. That you're there. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the living room. We had a little break there for a second, but we thank you guys for coming back with us here as we come back from our little break. Hope everyone is doing well. We were celebrating a little bit of the Queen Jubilee. Yes, celebrating inverted commas a little bit. Over here, flags and all, over here in the UK. Thank you guys for joining us. If this is your first time, you're here with us on the We Global platform, whether you're on Facebook or whether on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, click like or follow on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, where just look for We Global. We're going to have a good conversation this afternoon. Let's get straight to it. How are we doing, guys?
You tapped on your bunting yet?
I had no bunting, man. I
I just asked a question.
We nearly had bunting, but I say no to that. Yeah, man, well, that. I
There's
just
no
watch
shame in that.
the little stuff on TV, you know.
There is no
Man,
shame
no
in that.
shame, no shame, no shame, no shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you had some bunting there,
We-
Phil?
I didn't. We didn't have a bunting, but that was If we put it up, I would have still thrown a bit of yellow as well.
Yeah.
You can wreck it. Wow.
You know, tell the story, tell the complete story.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
No,
Listen
no
to you.
problem. I there for that. I there
Hi,
for that.
Dennis.
Not a problem. Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
Yeah, man. It was
No, I there for that. So, how you guys get to over the last few weeks, man?
we celebrate the Jubilee and enjoy 4 days off. Take and enjoy the beautiful sunshine, you know, in the British weather. As
Yeah.
always.
It's not a season; it's an opportunity. Summer,
Yeah,
man. Summertime.
Decent weather here recently, actually.
Yeah.
We had some decent weather here,
Can't
so
complain.
for the last few weeks, so all good. Can't complain. Can't complain at all, man. Not
Mhm.
at all.
Good
You
for the
should.
crops.
Not at all. Being
Good.
good.
I said good
Y'all
for
saw my
the
bunk.
crops.
Yeah, I had a little bunkty here. Yeah. I had a little bunkty here, so you know the lettuce is out and ready. So that's in the salad today, you know, and yeah, man, you gotta, you know, I reducing the meat intake again, you know, so
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Sure. That's fair.
Wow.
that's
just
fair,
using lettuce for salad,
yeah,
are you?
man. So
Are you explore a little bit further of other things that you could actually do with salad?
hey,
Lettuce.
salad might be in a few sandwiches. That's all I doing with it. All eating. I ain't got to do no more with it.
Okay.
All eating. So yeah, so the beets and things should be ready pretty soon. So yeah, of course, you know, I share a few pictures, you know, just so you can
Yeah,
see
man.
what I'm
It
doing.
was, and it was good to see them too. You know, see that your hand looking good this year. Your hand looking good this year, man. Yeah, you ain't suffering with these slugs like
Yeah,
you're doing well. You're
it's
doing
trying
well.
a few things. Lugs that you saying?
Man, these slugs, man, Lord have mercy. You just can't seem to get rid of them. You know, every time you look around, you're seeing all the holes
Hmm.
being eaten off my pumpkins, man. But anyhow, we will press on. We'll press on, man.
Put a little bit of salt.
Whoa.
Put a little bit of salt down.
Well, one of my friends told me that you have to put down oats, but that can get very expensive.
Put down oats.
Oats?
What happened to
apparently
oats?
oats is
Too rough?
yeah, that's something.
Meaning
apparently
the surface too rough?
Yeah, so I've been trying that. I'm working on it a little bit, but that can be a very expensive venture, right?
Especially if you
yeah,
like
I never hear
your
what.
if you like your morning porridge.
You know what I'm saying? There's some more-
This is true.
Come on, man.
Man, just throw down enough salt, man. Just throw down enough salt.
Mhm.
And hopefully,
Good old Beijing beer, right? Watch them curl up.
good old Beijing beer. Well, exactly. Throw down the salt. Hopefully, best. Hopefully, that they work out fine. But yeah, I carrots they should be ready in a few days. So all should be good. Looking forward to that.
Well, I see. Whilst we were off as well, that Boris escaped again. he seemed to be having a habit now of just being elusive. You know, they can't pin him down, can't get rid of him. I thought it was
Oh,
pretty interesting.
Teflon Boris.
Nah, yeah, man.
Teflon.
Yeah. I don't.
They can't do anything with it.
Boris ain't going anywhere, man.
I know.
No,
I think Boris is a beneficiary of the Trump era politics, which is pretty much very. And as long as your people support supporting you, just with it. Don't worry about it. Nothing is nothing.
Yeah, because no personalities represent.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Personalities represent more than just the person. It's no, they represent an idea. And if people are bought into a specific idea and ideology, and they map it onto that person isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. That person. So it doesn't matter. Unless you do something so egregious where there's no choice. And even that bar now is so high to be considered what is egregious enough for you to have to go.
Yeah.
People people are just going, leave the guy, get on with the job, get
He's
Brexit
doing a
done.
good job.
I
Leave the
saw
guy
so
alone.
much comment that said it's very unfair how people are treating him. This is the guy who delivered Brexit.
Exactly. Yeah, not the
So,
guy that party while he was putting rules on others not to do anything or
Yeah,
go anywhere. It's just like, this is Boris leaving. We have bigger things going.
going on
You know,
around us.
that's the new thing.
yeah.
Because obviously the way it is now.
Yeah,
Everyone's saying, let's focus. Who cares if he had a party and a drink? Get on with
working
it.
hard.
And that's a direct beneficiary from that whole Trump era
Yeah,
politics.
yeah,
So that's where we are.
yeah.
We're friends.
Y'all gonna have to let me have a bit of a lie, because I think as if I got a bit of a lie.
You
Yeah.
feeling it?
Yeah,
Are you hearing it?
feel it. I meaning that I could tell a little. I could feel. I feel as if I got a bit of a lag when I talk, and
Oh,
so
I
y'all
thought you
gonna
was
have to let me
talking
know
like I
if
thought you
that's
was
the
talking
case.
like that purposely. Just how it's feeling. Yeah, you got a little funniness with your.
No, man. Yeah, I feeling so. Yeah, I could tell. I tried a few things there just now, but nothing seemed to be working at the moment. So I'm not too sure what's
We'll get
going on.
better.
But anyhow, we'll see if
catch
we
up
get
as
through
we
it.
go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We'll get through
We'll
it.
work through.
So
We'll work through.
forgive me for a second.
That was
Yep.
an interesting story there.
Yeah, indeed.
Slug.
What was that comment there?
Slug. He
Oh,
put
man.
salt on the slug and it crawl up and find water and went for the water bowl.
Look,
What?
Yeah.
crawling
He
to
Slug.
water.
cur-
Slug
one day it
decided
crawled.
today was not my day today.
And then I
Yep.
got some water over here, man. I got
Oh, I
water.
didn't.
Watch
I
this
didn't even
off.
know that was a thing that they would do that.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Intelligence we're dealing with.
Smart slow.
Yeah.
So how was your Sunday, Phil?
Yeah, today was fine.
Yeah.
Let me give me. See if I can.
Yeah.
Oh, he popping up.
You that
Yeah, it was all right. Went to church this morning. Then Miles
Mm-hmm.
had a birthday party, so I took him.
Ooh.
Not his birthday. He went to one of his school friends' birthday party,
Oh,
so
okay.
just dropped him off there. It's good.
How you getting on with the cricket, man? Because last time we spoke, he was doing quite well.
Yeah,
So,
he's
what's
doing
going
all right.
on, man?
He's getting faster. He's getting more
Oh,
accurate.
really?
Yeah, getting more accurate. So I think cricket could be a thing for Miles as well.
Oh, wow. That's good, man. Don't let
So
specialize too early.
No. So at some point in time, he would make a decision if he wants to stick with football or cricket. I ain't trying him at volleyball yet, but
Don't bother with that. don't bother with that, there, man. You can only kind of offset the
nah,
guy.
man, volleyball is a foundational sport.
Really?
Yeah, man, it is. There's so much in there.
I have to take your word for it because clearly I've turned my hand at cricket.
Yeah.
And I have played football, but I can't make any claims to having been on a volleyball court. But I know you had your day, so
Yeah.
maybe you might
Many-
be trying to help him to walk in your legacy, perhaps.
Many days. Not
Many days.
necessarily. I think he's doing really well in those two sports, and there's a lot more opportunity, especially in this place for those two. So yeah.
Yeah, so you got some tickets for him at the Commonwealth Games this summer then to go and see some volleyball or not yet.
No, not as yet. Not as yet.
Oh,
But we're looking forward to the 100 coming up in August.
okay.
So I might
Okay.
probably try to get in a few of those games.
No, that'll be good. That's not too far off from you anyway. So
No.
you can make a trip up to Old Trafford.
Old
Have
Trafford,
a
yeah.
look around. Good ground
Is it-
actually.
Yeah, there's a good little short run or bicycle ride.
Hey, you were right up there.
Yeah. I've got to hide my bicycle though. So I got to walk back home. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that you can you would risk it on those roads up
In
in
these spaces, yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right?
So it's on my way to work as well. So I cycle to work whenever
Oh,
I go
okay.
in. So I pass Old Trafford every day.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Michael, come on back.
Okay.
So, wow,
All right.
welcome back, Michael. Now, well, we haven't seen.
Well,
you
I
for a
should be
long
back.
time.
Looking in.
Thanks.
You're
Yes,
sounding
welcome,
better
Michael.
now,
How's it
Carlo.
going, man?
Yeah, man. Well, we
You singing good?
How long?
Sounding
Yeah,
better. Oh, bit of a start there. We can make it through. We can make it through.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at how long we
yeah.
ain't seen
I
Mr.
really don't know what
Camelback.
happened in there.
I ain't know where he be hiding all these
No,
times.
that's good to have you back there, Michael, man.
Awesome, awesome.
Really good, really good. No, but that's good. Phil, you say you were done playing some cricket?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
yeah, man.
Mark was asking me how Miles getting on with the cricket. I said, yeah, he's picking up some pace. We gotta work on his batting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. It feel as though he batting for style.
And he's a West Indian, you expect? I'll hold it for the
That's it.
camera.
Feel as if he
A bit too much style
back
for
for
me.
I
style.
bet,
Yeah,
come off of it, Phil, man.
it's too much style. It needs to be a bit more effective, right?
Man,
Than
the
style.
boy,
Man, let the boy enjoy
I bet
himself,
he's the
man.
only body on that team that got some flair.
We'll work on
Boy,
it.
get some flair, man.
You can have
Enjoy
both.
yourself. You'll be
You
alright.
can have style and make some runs at the same time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
If you say so, no problem.
but
Wow.
that's where he at.
So how you dealing with the cost of living, man?
Ooh. Every time I put fuel in my car, I'd be like, shh.
Well, look, it crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I think it get much better for a little while now, so
it won't.
I feel like I live in
Okay.
that supermarket at the moment, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's just really crazy. Can't keep things in the house,
Yeah.
you know. And these kids, man, oh my word, you know. As soon as you put something in the fridge, it's gone. You know, it's summer, so
That's true.
you can't
So they're
stop.
around.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, you want to get to it, Barry, man?
that's how it goes. That's how it. Yeah, man. Let me get to it. I can just try and make it through, guys. Forgive me. I don't know what's going on with my internet. As far as I could see, everything's supposed to be working fine with my setup, but I seem to got a few bugs here and yeah, I don't understand what's happening. And I could see on the monitor there, so as well, it telling me that the signal coming down and going up, but everything should be fine. So I'm not sure why it's not as it should be. But anyway, look, we like to have good Yeah, I got a few gremlins here. We like to have a good conversation in the living room, and today we are going across to the continent of Africa and Senegal to be specific. I always wondered, at a time like this, a lot of people say, hey, we want to move. And it's at a time like this, I mean, when things seem to get hard, people sometimes might feel, hey, we got to get out the Caribbean and go somewhere else and things will be better. And usually that view is North America or the UK or something like that. But I'm always curious to know of West Indians who move I don't want to say further because it's the same world as far as I'm concerned. It's the same things. But probably somewhere different. It'd be great to have conversations about people who may have moved to the continent of Africa. So that's a new series that we are starting, because something tells me it's not as we have perhaps been socialized to believe things are, and that's why we want to have conversations about people from the West Indies and the Caribbean who have moved over to Senegal, and that's why we have Rachelle. I'm gonna say per ardua ad astra. Sorry, fellas, I know y'all don't like that, but y'all gotta deal with it.
No, I just don't understand it. I just do not understand it.
Good, you're gonna understand it. That's fine. You're gonna understand it. Don't worry about that. All is good. And we're just gonna talk to her a bit and just understand her move from Barbados and moving to Senegal, what that was like, why some of the motivations behind it, how it's going, and just have that conversation. And that's what we do. But I think it's good to understand what's happening in Africa.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Let's get her in and let's talk. See what's happening.
Yeah,
and guys in the audience, listen, we definitely have some challenges today on our network, so do bear with us. As you know, this is a normal thing, because normally we will be sitting chatting away and off we go, but for some reason today we just
it got me a bit distracted here. My words coming out funny and all kind of thing.
Your audio is
the audio is good, but is the video that's a problem?
Yeah. Well, the audio is coming and going. When it is there, it's clear.
Yeah.
Check your streaming rate. What?
I do it. I did all that just now, and I good. I had like 40 megabytes per second, and it was holding properly. So
Okay.
I don't have issue. I don't know if it's the interface that I have at the moment with Restream,
All right.
but we'll see. And it seems as if I got because I don't see
She's
things. So yeah. But no, while we wait for her to come back as well, thoughts. Any of y'all visited the continent of Africa at all?
Not yet.
Not as yet.
Not yet. But
Is on the list.
Making plans.
It's definitely on the list. Yeah.
You know, and where do you think you would go first?
I think I would like to go to Ghana. You start with where you know people. I think that's always a simple way to start. So I'm hoping to at least
Ghana. Why
that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know a couple of people over there.
Got people there.
When you're going to a new place, I think it's always good to just find out somebody that lives there and somebody that you know and see how them can introduce you to the place. So that's where I would be looking to head, I think, in the first instance. See, Michael, he agree too.
All right.
See, my interest would be Kenya.
Yeah. I feeling
Something about Kenya that pulls me.
Yeah.
The language.
What kind of pulls you?
I think the cultural variety of it, the size of it, and scale. I have a few friends from Kenya as well who sold it to me very well, and actually probably 2 years ago I was planning to go over, but then COVID. Yeah, that changed some things. I was planning to go over for a few weeks. Yeah.
Okay, I think Rachelle is back with us now, so we can bring her in this conversation. Let's bring in Rachelle.
Yeah, wrong there, Melvin.
Friggin' in the rigging.
Yeah, man. Rachelle, good evening.
Hey, Melvin, we got something in the rigging. Rachelle, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Good night.
Thanks for bringing some here to the living room. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
I have nothing to say. I am done. I said my part before we started. I'm not saying.
I told you that
my part.
You mean no? You have nothing to say. No.
I told you we almost call this show Three Ball Heads and Six Glasses, right?
Yes.
Nearly.
Cool.
Nearly.
Cool.
We were this close to calling it that. This close.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good night.
Welcome to the living room, man. How?
I am well. I'm well. Thanks. Yeah, I'm well.
Good to see you. And listen, it's so great to be able to have this conversation with you and to chart your journey and try and understand how you've done it. And before we dig too deep, because you've got a real intriguing, adventurous life. And I noticed that it started with you were born in Brooklyn, LA, and then you ended up in Barbados. Your early life was full of adventure. So tell us a little bit about how that adventurous life started, man.
Oh my gosh. I never thought of it that way.
Described that way, right?
Yeah, I only the only way I know it is that I was born in Brooklyn because my parents, my mother who's from Barbados, she went to university at Baruch. Well, Baruch no longer exists, but she went to Baruch University, and voila, I was part of the degree program.
Okay.
Yeah, undergrad.
I've never heard it that way either.
And then we got, when I was a little bit older, about 4 or 5, we moved to Los Angeles, and we spent 2 years there. And then finally, I think my mom got tired of America's not an easy country. Even though she was doing really well and she had great jobs, I think she kind of, you know it when you leave, the ease that we've left behind in Barbados at home.
Oh, yes.
It's a different hustle. It's a different, you could be vexed and still go to the beach. You could be vexed.
That's a good image.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no matter how vexed you are, the beach is right there. So she moved back, and I grew up in Barbados. I went to primary. Yeah, I went. You want adventure? Adventure is I went to school. I have primary school in Greenwich's, St. Lucie. Do y'all know where Greenwich's is? It's St. Swithins. It is so tiny, and my
Actually.
the enrollment was 100 students, and that's the whole school, all the way up
Oh,
from was
Mm.
it preschool, kindergarten,
so
up
from
to 100 of us.
so from and you lived in St. Lucie as well. You went
And I lived in St. Lucie, but for
from
some
LA to St. Lucie.
Yes, from LA, from Los Angeles County, Los Angeles, to
Yeah,
going to school in Greenwich's, St.
Wow.
St.
Lucie.
Lucie.
So you understand? That's like
Yeah, this
a
is
And
yeah.
then after Greenwich's, St. Lucie, then after that, where you went to school again? Just
The
I
adventure
went,
ceased.
out of
hold on,
curiosity.
hold on, hold on. Out of curiosity, I am legacy, and I went to the secondary school that my mother went to, which is Alexandria.
Sorry,
Perhaps
something
you
wrong with the
are.
net. Something going on with the network here.
The
Something happening with the network.
per Adastra. There you go. That's all.
So I'm legacy. I'm legacy. My sister's legacy. She went to Alexandria as well. It's
Okay.
I don't know
How
what
did
can
y'all
we do?
manage to break that?
We brought the legacy because my son actually he wrote the legacy. He now goes to Harrison College, so
Okay.
he actually piggybacked and he did the legacy of my uncle. My uncle went to Harrison College, so
Okay. Well.
it's yeah, we did it like
You
that.
go. See, don't get tired up. Don't get tired up.
So,
Don't get tired
so
up.
during those early years in the adventure, what was young Rachel being
Oh
seeded
my
in that mind of yours?
young Rachelle was always like different.
Okay.
Apparently, I
Apparently.
got I got made fun at because I got made fun at because I did not know how to walk up. So young Rachelle had to learn how to walk up.
Okay.
No, I'm
Ooh,
serious. Like that was the thing. Like you can't walk up because I
You
used to
wanna
teach
you
that was
wanna
a
that.
real
explain
thing.
walking up? You wanna explain
Yes,
walking up for those in the audience who might not know, Phil? Just give them a
walking
little.
up is okay. So every
I'm
How did
Martin
that
and
move?
demonstrate. Mark. Please.
I'm too sure I can see that again.
y'all are too funny. Y'all are too
Sorry,
funny.
sorry, sorry. Go on.
Sorry about that.
We digress. We
Y'all are too
digress.
funny. No, so I didn't know how to walk up, and you
Uh-huh.
know, I had to learn because at the end of the day, it's our culture. There's certain
Yeah.
things I know nowadays we want to be international and all sorts of stuff, but
Yeah.
everyone from everywhere has certain things that are foundation things, and
Yes.
walking up is a foundation thing. A Bajan who cannot walk up is an anomaly because even when you go to church, let the tambourine kick in and the drum, and you will walk holy and walk up.
What will they move?
A little shuffle. A little shuffle.
No, that's him in spirit.
So they
No.
get asked a strange question here now, right? So,
Yes.
and those in the audience, do forgive me. So you are a clockwise or anti-clockwise walker?
Yeah.
Theoretical,
You.
man.
I
You.
am not certain,
Oh,
but
that
I
coming from
know
Maya. You.
Man, let me ask you a question. What's wrong with you?
I'm not certain which I am. I
You
just
gotta
know
think with
that
it, right?
when I do for calypso, it goes one way, which is the way for calypso, and for reggae, it goes the way for reggae. Think
Okay,
on that.
okay, I got you.
Uh huh.
Didn't know it was a thing, right?
It's a thing. You were doing it the same way all the time, Andre.
I clearly was. I clearly don't have a regular walk up. That is one thing. I don't.
Oh my
I've
word!
been doing this thing wrong for the whole time. Then
For the whole time.
clearly,
Yes,
I've been doing it wrong. I've been
there's a
doing it wrong.
reggae. There's a reggae walk up.
Indeed, indeed. How did you find? I mean, apart from the fact that people made fun of you that you couldn't walk up, how did you find transition from the U.S. to Barbados?
Well, first, let me put it into context. This was the 80s. It was a different time. It was the
Very
80s.
true.
So we're talking pre-internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking CBC was channel 3. Yeah.
Channel tree, TV tree, boy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to be like, give y'all a little. You're talking channel 3. We're talking one station. We're talking people still had functioning radio
Radio
fusion.
Fusion. I was just
Radio
going to add
Fusion.
that
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The newspaper was still in black and white. You remember
Yeah.
when the nation went to color? I'm taking you
Yeah.
all down that
Jeez.
street for real.
No, no,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. No, we with
Right?
you. FM
So
station Liberty was one of the first to come out back
when
then.
Liberty came out, we came out with Liberty, and remember hot.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. With
but
you.
when I came home, the bus actually used to be a manual and not automatic, and you could hear it when it's coming through the other villages, so you knew when to be ready to get on the bus. Like, you heard it.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So picture me coming from train stations and skyscrapers, and then
Oh, yeah.
also then moving to LA, where it's like LA.
A different
And,
vibe, yeah.
and then not only did I move home to Barbados, I moved home to St. Lucie. Now that's a whole nother
Ooh.
dynamic. I'm not even a town
Listen.
girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you
So-
no lie. I'm from St. Philip. So
Oh,
when you go up in St. Lucie, it used to feel like another country, man.
Another
I was like,
country. And
yeah.
State village, man.
you know,
And people in St. Lucie just talk different too, somehow.
yes, we do. People in St. Philip, Barlop speak different too, as well. And
Oh,
town
I see that
people,
there.
I don't know if y'all know that town people speak different as well. If you really know a real town, if you ever been in the Orleans or like really the heart of town,
It's true.
they draw their words, they drag them. Yeah,
real.
is a tongue talk, is a real
True thing,
yeah,
true
so-
thing.
It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
we so chilled out.
So
That's
it
it.
was different. So it was different. Yeah, it was a quiet. I adjusted, I guess, but I always felt weird. I was always different. I was always different, even when I was in America, and moving home. And then people used to make fun of my accent, and they say, "Oh, you think you're better than us because
Oh,
you
shoot.
speak
Cause
a
you talk
certain
slow."
how." Because you speak. So
so great.
honestly, when I see people nowadays who are having struggles and they talk about being bullied and all of that, all their experiences, I do not get into that conversation because we don't break you, we'll make you,
Yeah, make you stronger.
make you
Yeah,
stronger.
yeah.
But even in that, did you find that you always find a community of people who might be? Did you find fellow people that you could hang out with that weren't part of that bullying crowd?
Were you trying to
I was
say
never-
fellow
okay.
outsiders?
So no,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
fellow,
no. Let me
fellow
tell-
weirdos.
Fellow
No,
weirdos.
it's not. You guys are horrible. It's not about fellow. It's not about fellow weirdos. What it is about is you got to figure out who you are. For me, I figured out who I
Nice, that's
was.
strong. That's a strong response.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to. So it's not. It's about figuring out who you are, and you will find too that
And
when
be
you figure out
comfortable.
and be comfortable. Because I can tell you a secret now. Everybody, even the cool kids or the cool people, they're going through some kind of something that they feel left out or joke or fun or
You better
something
believe
made
it.
of that
Yeah.
you might not know.
True,
So that
true.
no one, this is not off limits to anyone. Everybody
Yeah.
has had it. So I figured out, I'm like, okay, well, this is me. I used to do weird things. Let me give you an example of the weird things I used to do.
Give us an example here.
I had a lot of books when I was young, and
That's
I had
not weird.
and I had two friends who lived through the gap from me, and they didn't have books like I had books, and I was like, yo, maybe I could open a library because we were accustomed to libraries. So I
right.
sat on this library project, and I created this library, and I put the books in the veranda, and I invited my friends to come and select the books so they could borrow them to read them
Wow.
and return them. And I remember them borrowing them the evening and having to return them the same evening because we're from the era of who that belong to, where you get that from, take that back to where it belongs.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say otherwise you would give them some fines.
No. So that's what happened. Their parents made them bring back the books.
Yeah,
Send back
yes.
the books
I can
because
imagine that.
it didn't belong to them and they should not borrow anything.
You don't
and-
need to borrow anything
No,
from anybody. Yeah.
no, because it was a different way of thinking, yeah.
So was it during that phase that you started to, have this deep-rooted feeling of literature and reading and books and writing? How did that get seeded?
Oh my goodness. I think it's genetic. It's
Oh wow.
definitely genetic. All right, so let me give you the reason why I arrived at that. My grandmother, amazing woman, may she rest in peace. She's a reader. I think she was one of the longest members of the Bridgetown Library because she's from town. And she used to go to the library. So even when she moved to St. Lucie, she would always go to the library on Tuesdays every 2 weeks to return her books. Reader's Digest was her favorite thing.
Wow.
She read like every Agatha Christie. She'll just read, 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 read. My grandmother never traveled a day in her life. She refused to get on the plane. My mother tried to get her to come to where we were. My grandmother was like, "No, I ain't about that life."
Wow.
But she knew everything that was going on in the world because
From
of
reading.
books.
Yeah.
So Reader's Digest was her thing. My mom is a voracious reader. My mom, you want to talk about child neglect? This is my child neglect story. Don't try to talk to my mother between Friday and Sunday because she's reading books this thick. And she ain't got no time. She don't want you. She reading. So I got to do things like watch the A Team and live in color. Remember in Living Color what
Yeah.
my mother was reading. So I was like, yeah, you standing there with your books. But she is also an author. She wrote accounts for CXC textbook. Macmillan had come down when I was 12 years old, and they basically offered her the opportunity to write a CXC accounts book. My uncle is also a writer. He's one of the founders of the Nation newspaper. And so then I have cousins who are journalists. I have a cousin who's an author. I have a cousin who just published a book last year, Bertie Hines. He just put out a police related type book.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bertie Hines.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like there are a bunch of us, and then I have my technical cousin Julie Ben, who also is an Alexandrian. Good thing Barrow's not here. Oh gosh, here he is. My technical cousin Julie Ben. She's always sending me. She's like, oh, there's a new author in the family. This Jills is an author, that person, whatever. When my sister was young, my sister won a competition, a tourism competition about why tourism is important, and won 2 tickets to New York City and came to see me when I lived there.
Wow.
And I also won a competition when I was a kid. When I was 14, I entered Whole Town Festival, had a competition, a writing competition. I cannot remember, but I know that I went in there telling myself, nobody here can write better than me.
Oh, yes.
There you go. Confidence.
That's all I knew. I know it, and then I had to remember because I have a horrible handwriting. That's why I think I was born in the time of technology, so I don't have to write longhand. But I remember thinking the whole time I was in there, Rachelle, make sure these people can read what you write, not you can't win. You can't win if they can't read it. So.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that. So we're authors. We're the writing gene, I guess. If we were, I don't know, in a traditional setting, I come from the family of griots, the writers, the storytellers.
Yeah.
No, that's really awesome. And you must have been the envy of so many youngsters going to school. She's right, so good.
Actually, at Alexandra, here's an Alexandra story. In my class, there were, I would say, 3 girls that I think that I would consider if there was such a thing as competition, but they would keep me on my toes because I
At your level,
write.
You're right. Your level.
Yeah, they would. I said to myself, you see these 3. When I write my composition, I gotta know that these 3 writing too, and whatever it is that I write, I have to make sure that it comes in at this level. DJ Gibbons, Lisa Haynes, and Karen Eastman. Won't forget the 3 of them can write.
Remember the names as well.
Of course.
Always remember
Competitive, man.
Yeah.
She might be stalking these people. Yeah, she might be stalking.
Every now and then she on Facebook. Let me see if they're right.
Yeah. What I'm doing now.
Karen Eastman is in London, and she's an awesome IT person, just like you guys. DJ is fabulous and does diplomatic, amazing work. And Lisa Haynes read my book and liked it. Okay, there you go.
So she does stalk them.
She does. Let me see which of them like my book. Oh,
she answered the question there.
I did.
They didn't come back.
Sorry,
and
had
say,
to.
"You could have done that slightly differently," but anyway.
Sorry, I had to drop out there for a second there. But art as well is something that's very important to you also.
Yes. I did art at CXC because I love art. I love art and I love geography. And I remember when I started at
Miss
Alexandra, they came
Jules?
up with yeah, of course, Miss Jules. Of
There
course.
you go.
Miss Jules
There
is
you
the
go.
best.
There you
And
go. Okay.
I
Sidebar.
remember, no, because it's not about just being the best. You want to talk about a teacher. She's also one of the people who influenced me, like when I am in a position to teach, how I approach my teaching. Because
Okay.
Miss Jules was, she's a person. Like she don't come in and she's just
She
teaching
was
you. She has heart.
no,
She
she
has
was great.
personality. She cares. So because a teacher is a teacher is a entity, is a three-dimensional being. That's what teaching
Well,
should be like. So it shouldn't just be like, do this, this is for CXC, get your SBA. Nah, Miss Jules is like the truth. So I did art, and remember art and geography were clashing when I wanted to do them, because Alexandra came up with this beautiful, crazy, silly idea that we should only do a certain number of subjects. And most of my friends were at Hartson College and other schools, and they were doing like more subjects. And I was like,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
subjects and their subjects, if we go into this world to play the world game, I will be at a disadvantage. So my two teachers, they said, my geography teacher said, listen, you're good at geography. Um, if it's fine with you, you can come to geography. I think I was supposed to do like say 6 classes of 6 hours or six whatever a week. She said do 4, and I spent the rest in art. So my art and my geography teachers, they hooked me up and they allowed me to do more subjects in one sitting because they were able to flex. And again, I negotiated that anyway. So you know.
Are you still in art? Are you still
well,
exhibiting and whatnot?
I haven't exhibited in 10 years, but I'm thinking I might actually go back to it, because one of the reasons why I left Barbados too is because I felt burnt out and
Oh
I
wow.
felt
okay.
uninspired a little bit. There's
Wow.
only so many times you can circle the island, and there's only
Yeah.
so much you can do. And
But just to let everybody know, Barbados is great. But okay,
no,
go on.
Barbados is. Wait, hold on. Let me even give you more context.
Yeah.
I moved home in 2002, and I was in Barbados for 15 solid years.
Okay.
15 solid years. I mean, I'm allowed to leave after 15 years, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You're talking to three people.
I agree.
By the way, you're talking to 3 people who don't live there for over 20 years.
We done more than 15 years, though. We done more.
Right.
Very much so.
So I was there for 15 years solid, and I was like, okay, So I wasn't there. I think I used up the amount of inspiration that I could use and the
Yeah.
thing, and I wanted to find. I need to breathe.
Something fresh.
Yeah, I need to breathe and to be inspired and reconnect. So I haven't exhibited since I did I Queen in 2009. But I'm thinking now that I'm here.
Tell us a bit about I Queen before you roll past that. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so before I'm going to roll past. I'm going to come back,
Okay.
if that's okay,
Okay.
with you, because
Absolutely.
I'm at the
That's
age where I
cool.
don't remember things.
Ooh. She dabs.
Right.
Super Marvel.
I'm not that. Anyway, so what happens is that, yeah, so now that I'm here and Dakar has the Biennale, and the Biennale is happening, and it's like there's so many exhibitions and there's so much art, and I've met all these artists, and just to be in this space, and there's so many performances, and Dakar is art itself. Without the Biennale, Dakar is art on its own, and you just feel like, you're talking to artists, and they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I used to be a photographer. And they're like, so why are you not doing it anymore? And I'm like, I don't know. So I have thought about it. And I have thought about maybe revisiting expressing myself visually.
Okay.
What did I roll past? I rolled past
I
something
Queen.
else.
I
I
Queen.
Queen. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Hey, Queen.
I Queen is bittersweetness. I Queen
okay.
taught me a lot of lessons. One of them is that you should trust yourself, because I wanted to do I Queen. This was around the time of the death of Ayakobi, death by misadventure. I don't know how
yeah.
anyone dies by misadventure, but that is what they said. And so, everybody head hot. Some people are like, why are Rastas? Because people, at that time, I didn't have my second crown. I was in transition. So I had cut my first crown because I was at that place. And I didn't have locks, but I had some kind of hair. It was very wild, as you know. And So people felt that without my locks, or because I cut my locks, some people felt they could say things to me that they probably would not have said to me if I had locks anymore. And so I also, the way that my life is that, I know all kinds of people. I don't just limit my relations to just one type of person. So I was hearing many things, and I was like, right now we have a divide. People think Rastas are the abundance of negative, um, and that's not the experience that I know. Those are not the people that I know. And how do I tell people that this is, that there's another perspective that they might be missing? And so I thought about I Clean. And I said, well, I want to photograph Barbadian women of Rastafari culture. So it was I Queen, an exhibition of contemporary Barbadian Rastafari women. I exhibited over 22 women I had gone to. Basically, asked them 3 questions: your name, clearly, what do you identify as? First of all, the only question that made you Rasta was if I said, "Are you Rasta?" If I said, "Are you Rasta?" and you said yes, that was it for me.
That was
because
it.
I don't have a checklist.
Yeah.
So with that, and you have to excuse me because it got really hot and now it's getting cold again. Anyway, so with that, I did the I Queen. I went around, I photographed these women, and I said to each woman, I was like, listen, I want you to find somewhere that means something to you as a Rastafari woman. What, maybe it's where you first sighted Rasta, or somewhere that's important to you. Just find somewhere. And that's where we'll photograph. Wear something that represents who you see yourself as within Rastafari. And then, because each woman was different, like Tabitha's a musician, Rolly she has a horse stable, and different people. My aunt, from the Orleans, my aunt Verna, she was Rastafari when the time I was young. She used to conduct the Connelltown bus, and I would see her on my way to school. So at Greenwiches. So these are the people that I drew on, and essentially, I photographed these women, and the person who was curating my exhibition looks at me 2 weeks before the exhibition is supposed to go out. I want you to know we figured out invitations. We went through food for the opening. This would have been my second time exhibiting at the Queen's Park Gallery, the first being when I came home. So it was my second exhibition there. But my curator, 2 weeks before, sent me an email and told me that she had discussed with other photographers about my work, and they didn't think that this was appropriate. And that it was exoticism.
Appropriate.
It was exoticism. I don't know what exoticism is, but it was exoticism, and therefore she's canceling my exhibition. I tell you, right? So then I had to then go and find a space. I remember I went to UE Gallery, but that didn't work out. And then one day, I turned to Fran Wickham. Fran Wickham was the then manager of the Frank Cullimer Hall. I call her my fairy godmother, because Fran said, Rachelle, you can't get the grand cell because it's crop over, but I will take the works down off of the hall, inside the hall, the lobby of the hall of Frank Cullimer Hall. You can hang your works there. I don't usually do that, but I'll let you do that. And I was like, really?
That's great.
Wow.
So I hung the work there, invited everybody. When I tell you I invite everybody, the MP of Bridgetown, the then Prime Minister David Thompson, cat, dog, mother, cousin, everybody come, because I believe that art is for the people, everybody.
People, yeah.
Long story short, this exhibition, I have never been touched in the way that I've been touched by this exhibition. I saw Rastas I'd never known lived in Barbados. People, you hear about woodwork. People came out of the woodworks.
Wow.
I was interviewed, Nation, the Advocate, the this, the that, the everybody. I was, even KB Clean came around with the Road Runner. But I think the highest point, if you want to rate it in modern terms, is when the then Prime Minister called, and he was like, Rachelle, this is one Sunday I'm at my house. Rachelle? And I'm like, he's like, it's David Thompson. I'm like, He's like, yeah, you got
You're like, yeah,
exhibition.
right.
You ain't doing a bad Thompson. You ain't doing a bad Thompson.
Right? And he was like, I'm coming. He's like, I'm coming to see your exhibition. And I was like, why? He's like, because you remember you invited me. I was like, well, bet, we'll come, you know. And he came. So we set up a time. And this was towards the end. He came, and it's on CBC. It's an old clip and everything. My hair is like really short. And then that's what I was no gandy little piggies. And he came, and he saw the exhibition and everything. And he talked about it. It came up on the news. But what really mattered is that everyone, he says, oh, you know, my sister's Rasta as well. I was like, okay, nice, nice. But what really touched me was that people came in and saw Rastafari differently. They were like, a lot of people came in and said, these women look like African women. And then somebody even admitted to me, somebody in media even admitted to me, they're like, I thought these people were going to look dusty because apparently when you're Rasta, you're supposed to look dusty.
Wow, yeah.
And then the pictures were huge. I had remember Hartley Allen. If you have ever seen Hartley Allen, she used to be the head of the fine arts division at BCC. This woman is so beautiful. Oh gosh. And she also posed, and I did like a 3 feet canvas print, a photo print of her, and just half of her face. And she's just beautiful, beautiful woman. Anyway, the long story short is that everyone came out, from the prime minister to the ordinary person that lived in the hills somewhere that heard about this thing and came to check it. And everyone was just so moved and inspired. And I felt like I had done my part to say something without even saying anything, because each photo had the response from each woman. And the response from each woman basically was, you know, like I remember asking Irika Jelani, because Irika Jelani is the Roots and Grasses lady, and she's awesome when it comes to making baskets. And I asked her about business. So she gave a business answer. I asked somebody else about this and that and the third and fourth. So you went around, you read each of those, and you learned about Rastafari. And I think it was healing in a way, and it brought a positivity to light. It brought something positive to the table. I sold some pieces, yay! But you know, that wasn't really good. That is a good part of it, but I think the most important part is that I got my exhibition, and I also learned, Rachelle, nobody can tell you what you know is good. You know, how can another photographer who does not have my idea, because he was not or she was not imparted with it, they have theirs, God gave them their gift, look at my stuff and things. So iQueen was that, and then it was up and down and left and right, and I haven't exhibited since iQueen.
Wow.
That label is interest in exoticism.
Exoticism, it's not even in the dictionary. I tried looking for it. I Googled, it's not even urban. But
you would know, right?
I would know. I would know. Listen, when I got the email, I went looking for this word. I was like, what is this word? I've never heard of it, because these women aren't naked.
Did they come back to you after the showing it?
Nobody.
Did you hear anything back from them afterwards?
No, but do I care? Is the question.
No, I agree. I was just wondering.
It's fascinating. Yeah.
I didn't think, but that was a very important thing, because I feel like it also brought people face to face with again your perceptions. You know, your perceptions of Rastafari. When my son first went to Harrison College, he had a town and he had locks, and people couldn't believe, they would have to look at the epaulets. Couldn't believe the Harrison College boy was this little Rastafari boy walking through town, catching 226 to go home, you know?
226. Yes.
But so now we get the journey as to where you are now in Senegal. Tell us a bit about, don't take us to Senegal yet, but the thought process and the journey of saying, here's where I'm gonna move to.
Okay, so one day my son said to me, his name is Indica, the good Indica. One day my son said to me, Phil is like, yeah, I know it well. He said to me, Mommy, where in the world, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? And I was actually stumped. I couldn't think of it, because for me, don't forget, I'm American. I enjoyed that moment, but I'm good. Canada, my heart does not throb in that way for Canada. Spanish speaking countries were not resonating with me, although I love, Cuba and, Costa Rica and all that stuff. That wasn't my thing. And I was like, I do want to go to the continent. I mean, like, what's her name? Oh gosh, Bob Marley's granddaughter, Pendergrass. Can't remember her first name, but she had come to Barbados at the Israel Level Foundation, and she had a documentary called Rasta. And she had gone all over the world documenting Rastafari around the world. And in her talk after showing the video at Israel Level Foundation, one of the pearls of wisdom that she dropped was that we're supposed to be liberated and free now. I mean, we can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
and
true.
even if you don't want to move to Africa, why have you not at least come to visit?
Yeah.
Why haven't you come?
Yeah, agreed.
Just put your toes in the water, eat a plantain, and be like, okay, maybe fufu's not my thing, and leave. But we're liberated.
Plantain
but we
or
don't come back.
plantain? Just checking.
St. Lucie. St. Lucie.
Good one, Phil.
Just checking.
I reflected on that. That was part of the makeup. Also, if y'all grow up listening to reggae music, and if you're from my generation, you know that from Capleton, Buju, everybody was telling you Africa is where it's at, Africa is where to go, Africa. I mean, like, it's in your subconscious. You hear something enough times. That's why you should be careful what you watch, what you eat, where you go, what you listen to.
Yeah.
So I sat and I thought about it. When I lived in New York, I had a great experience hanging with Senegalese people. I've always had good experiences with African people, with people in general. I have good experiences with people. I mean, you'll meet your share of pricks, but in general, I have good experiences with people. So Senegalese people, their food is important.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're going to live somewhere, the food will determine how comfortable you are living in that place. And the culture of the people, they have a thing called Teranga, which is beautiful. Basically, they meet you and they bring you in like family. So and this is what I found even being here, you can be in this country and never feel alone.
So is that philosophy, Teranga, or what was that?
Teranga is a philosophy, and I would say that it's something that Bajans used to do.
All right.
Even though we don't use the word Teranga. But I remember in the 80s and the 90s, people used to say Bajans were the friendliest people. I don't know when last you've heard anyone say Bajans are the friendliest people, but the tourists used to always say Bajans are the friendliest people. And we were. We used to be so friendly. You could stop and ask somebody where to go, how to go, what to do. You could get in a bus and give you a bag to somebody and say, hold that to me.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
This is true.
This is who we were. Well, in the word, so I would describe being here and Senegal specifically, as how my son was saying. He said, "Mommy, you brought me back to how you were when you were young, but in a modern time." So it's like it's a mix of modern. We have cell phone, internet, whatever. But then those things from when that we kind of dash away now that we're developed, they still
held on
Still
to.
rooted.
They still have in place. So it's like I'm technically experiencing the best of both worlds.
Wow, that's great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So you're thinking of the continent. You knew some Senegalese people. You had good experiences with them. But still, how did you settle on Senegal? Did you try somewhere else? Did you think maybe Nigeria, maybe Ghana? Oh, you did the research. Okay, you stayed and did the research.
So this is the thing. Okay, so I went, and it's also a feeling. It's a feeling. You have to have a feeling. For instance, I love Ethiopian food, but I was like, no, I don't think I'm ready to go there yet, because Ethiopia, I feel, is going to be an experience and a half. I think Tanzania, Zanzibar is like a dream. I would love to visit Tanzania. And there's a huge expat community that they're going to Tanzania. There's a lady online, traveling sister. She can give you all the know about things. You guys are in London. So you must know Gambians like crazy, because Gambians are forever in London, and that's a big thing. A lot of Caribbean, a lot of UK Blacks are leaving London and moving to Gambia. Gambia is it. There's this guy, I can't pronounce his name, the village guy. He has like 1 billion followers, and he goes around showing things about Africa that are really cool. But he just interviewed, and Gambia, just for context, Senegal is shaped like this. And if my finger is Gambia, Gambia is like in there, right in the middle. You can't even see it because they put a dot. So it's weird how they did it. But it is
Yeah.
actually like Senegal is the face, and they say Gambia is the mouth that is
Uh-huh.
in there.
Mm-hmm.
So Gambia is in the middle of Senegal because that's how the pie was divided, and essentially, so a lot of because Gambia speaks English,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So a lot of
Right.
UK blacks, a lot of Caribbean people living in the UK are opening a lot of businesses in the Gambia. The Gambia is thriving. There's amazing, amazing, amazing spaces. So it's a big opportunity. A lot of people are repatriating to the Gambia. Nigeria, whoo, I've had only good experiences with Nigerians. Believe it or not, I've had a
Believe it.
Nigerian landlord. Yeah, because
I believe it.
people always say Nigerians, but
Watch out for the Nigerian people,
but I
boy.
say watch out for the
That's what
capitalists.
people say.
Watch
No,
out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with
You're
you.
watching a Nigerian, but then a bank is stealing half your money.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There you go.
so
No, I like it. I like it.
so Nigeria, I'm not ready yet for Nigeria. I think I have to have a certain mindset for Nigeria. So eventually, but also again, my diet. Nigeria is a very meat heavy country.
Yeah.
So I need to go somewhere where I can find things that I could, eat as well. Who else?
Excellent.
Ghana. Everyone's going to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ghana is beautiful, but that didn't resonate with me. And
Mm-hmm.
Kenya, I'm not ready for Kenya yet, but in South Africa, those I'm not ready for yet. I went with what resonated with me,
Yeah,
which
that's
was
good.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Was
Feel
there
it.
perhaps a sort of artistic pull? Because whenever I hear Senegal, I think of the griots and the griots. How do you pronounce it properly?
Yes,
The
and you're so right
storytellers and
because
so on. Yeah.
yes, yes. Because yesterday I had my first authentic griot experience because I went to a wedding. Remember, Dre, I was telling you I'm going to a wedding next door and I'm so
Yeah.
Okay.
excited, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And a Senegalese friend of mine asked, I was like, so prepare me, what should I do? They say, make sure to carry small bills because the griot is going to the griot sings for money. The griot will tell the story of the married couple, but the griot then comes into the audience and will sing about the different people in the audience. And once the griot starts to sing or talk about you, you got to reach into your purse and give the griot some money, right? So I walk with some singles, and griot see me.
I was gonna
Right?
sing about you.
The griot see me. She look around and she
Ooh,
say,
Caribbean.
and she said, She said, give me some money. She said it in Walla. And I was like, and she said, give me some money. And I looked at my landlady because my landlady's sister who's getting married. And she said, I said, how much? She said, so I give her a meal franc, and which is, a good piece of money, not too much, just a little bit, like a $2 Bajan. Yeah. And my woman sang about how nice I was because I'm really a good person because I came to the wedding of my landlady's sister and they invited me, and what a nice person I was to come. That was her.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I was like, that's my first griot sing, and I felt special.
Yeah. I like it.
Feeling it. Feeling
Yeah.
it. You're gonna ask Mark? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the arrival. What was
Me
the
too.
experience like?
Okay. Okay, so let me lead you up to the arrival.
Go ahead.
You have to do your homework. So I did my homework as best I could. I would say do not believe everything that's on Wikipedia. I would say do not believe everything that's on Wikipedia.
Okay.
I would say do not believe everything that's on Wikipedia. I would say that. I would say that it's a good guide, but when you read or you're going to any country or any place, do your research and then dash it with. When you get there, let that experience. I agree, I need some vegan, but okay, I like that one, right? So when you get there, let that experience inform you. So I did all this research, and I was fortunate because Senegal was at a point, this was back in 2018. Senegal was at a point where infrastructure was big on their agenda. That's the other thing.
Okay.
So I don't turn on the news to be informed. I do my own research and I feel my energy and I let that inform my decision. So on the news, you're not going to see that Senegal is big into infrastructure. You're not going to see that they have just paved and made highways all through the place compliments of France and China, right? You're not going to see that they just opened a new airport. They moved the old airport from out of the city, which is right next door to me, and that's now a military airport, and they push it further back because they're expanding Dakar further back. You're not going to see that they have their first new national airline, which is Air Senegal, which now you can connect, kind of like how you remember when Selassie started Ethiopian Airlines so that he could connect Ethiopia because Ethiopia is not a country. You could just walk across like that. So he's like, let's fly our people around. So they did that. And then also to connect Senegalese with the outside world, New York, Paris, and other African places. So that was in place. They had a tragedy with their ferry system some years before. So they had a new ferry system in place. And they had all these things that were going on. They were now at that 4G point, just like how we were similarly into the 4G LTE point. So these were things that interest me. And I said, okay, well, I can survive because once there's internet, I can survive. That's really and truly how my life is. So I was like, it's less interesting. And then with their personalities, I would say when it comes to jumping up and being upset about things, Senegalese are similar to Bajans in that we are not, no, they're not as similar, but there's a calmer energy about how they go about things. But they did have a protest Wednesday past, and then last year there was a big manifestation, which is a protest. And what I thought was so interesting is like all the big rocks that were in the street, because they didn't really protest with guns. They protest by throwing rocks. And I was like, okay, Bajans are Senegalese. Listen, one of the funniest things you will ever see is little boys pelting rocks at each other. Like they just pick up, and I'm like, wait, he's a Bajan? Or they have gutter perks. These little boys, there's a tree out front of my house, and the little boys will walk through with a gutter perk. And I'm like, dude.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, so they do the gutter perks. But yeah, so the infrastructure was important. And yes, the traffic is harsh, yes. But they put in this infrastructure which allowed you now to go further, and that attracted me. Then in my research, because at that point I only knew Dakar and Saint Louis, but then I discovered, I'm going to use my capital, my conqueror terms. I discovered the south of Senegal, which is called the Casamance. And I was like, where is this place? Because it's different. It's the south, thank you. The south, and I was staying where you see it says Ziguinchor. And if you come under Ziguinchor, you see Osui. I stayed in Osui. So Ziguinchor.
The very south.
Yes, the very south. We're actually on the border of Guinea-Bissau.
Southwest.
That's another story altogether. So Dakar is like 550 kilometers away. And you see that gray piece of land that just has nothing in it? That's Gambia. Remember I was telling you it fits like the mouth? That's Gambia.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very interesting dynamic. But Dakar, where you see it says Dakar, I'm on the tip right there. And I used to actually live in Osui because I came. And I lived in Ziguinchor, which is the capital of the South, which I find to be very interesting. They have a capital of the South, but I won't even get into that because that's a piece unto itself. But so I only knew of Saint Louis, which is in the north. I've known of Dakar, and then there's the holy city of Touba. So those were my points of knowledge, and I was like, okay, I can walk with Senegal like that. Then I discovered Casamance, which has Ziguinchor, and I was like, what? These people got big trees, and they got mangroves, and they just seem so beautiful and peaceful. I want to check this out first before I do like the real city thing, because it's harder when you get in the city to leave the city.
You're hard to leave, yeah.
So I thought it would be better to do a country vibe, and plus I haven't taken a vacation in forever. So I was like, let me just chill, and I went to the south of the country first.
So this is where you went first from Barbados?
Yes, I went to Dakar. Let me tell you. So I flew from Barbados to New York because I wanted to show my son where I was born and where I grew up. We're Brooklyn out,
And it's just you and your son moving at this point.
Just me and my son, and we it's so funny. Anyway, so we went to New York. We spent a few days in New York. I had to do some shopping because I'm a West Indian, and you have to stop and go to New York. And I had found this airline, which I believe in, which is Air Morocco if you ever come this direction, it's so funny when I went to the what's it called? What do you call those people? The travel agent in Barbados to buy my ticket. She didn't even know what airline I was talking about.
Oh Lord.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna tell you, Didi. Right? She didn't even know what I was talking about. And then she found the airline, and I would say Air Morocco is owned by Morocco, the King of Morocco, and
Yeah.
it's a very good airline. And we took Air Morocco because it's like 8 hours across from New York
New York.
to yeah. But we flew to Casablanca, so I went to Casablanca first, and we spent the day. If you spend Air Morocco is cool. They put you in a hotel and stuff for the day and whatever. And we were able to let my son sleep for a while. Then we got back on the next plane and we took the flight, which is Casablanca to Dakar. So that's how we got here. We got in the middle of the night. We were supposed to get in at 11 o'clock. We got here like 2.
Wow.
Sorry, that might be me. We got here like 2 in the morning. I didn't, but I had met this lady when we were in Casablanca because we had to change planes in Casablanca because the one that they put us on wasn't working. I met this lady that I follow online.
Wow.
And I was totally fine.
You brave though. I gotta tell you, man. You
You arranged to meet her, or
seriously?
No, I ran into her on the plane. I was like,
just
girl,
wow.
I was like, I follow you. She's like, really? I was like,
I
yeah.
like the
She's like,
spirit
follow
though. I
you.
like the spirit.
So I ran into her, and she basically I ran into her, and basically because we came in the middle of the night, the person who was supposed to pick me up, my French wasn't like the best French. I don't speak Wolof, blah blah blah. She talked to the person, organized, and my driver was outside because I had rented an Airbnb. We have Airbnbs. The Airbnb owner actually lived in Washington D.C., so I was in communication with him. And he sent his driver, what have you not, and we came in at 2 o'clock. And then the next morning, I woke up basically to Dakar. And I had to get on the ferry that day to get to, yes, the overnight ferry to get to the south. So,
how long is that journey on the ferry?
Overnight.
Overnight, yeah.
And I would say if you ever come to Senegal, take the overnight ferry from the south to Dakar. I prefer that leg of the trip because you get to see the dolphins in the Casamance River. There are these beautiful dolphins that will just come and they'll just swim next to the ferry the whole way. It's beautiful.
Well, what did anything surprise you when you woke up that first morning? Because you could do as much research as you want on the internet, right? You coming from Barbados, with your young son, you must have been still not sure. As much as you research as you did, there's still some subconscious stuff that we know that get in there, as you would call it, from the imperialists and what Africa is like and what have you. So what did that feel like first?
This is what I would say. My biggest concern was that, I mean, the guys who picked me up, the night, I will never forget him, Usman. Everybody here, his name is Usman. But Usman was big. And Usman walks out. Usman don't speak no French. Usman walks out. I walk out of the arrival hall, and there are all these people hustling and singing, because that's the other thing. Okay, in the West or in Western countries, we have organized chaos, if that makes sense. You know, we have organized chaos. When the traffic light, if you're in Florida, to me, Florida is the worst when it comes to the organized chaos, because when you're at the traffic light dictates whatever, and then there's a few people probably running like roaches through the traffic, and if they get hit, whatever. But that's it. It's very straightforward. This traffic light tells you this, that, and the other. Here, it's a dance, and you better find your rhythm. So it's a dance. So when you come out, it's ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. But if you know, because I know now, because I go back and forth. So now when I come, the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta don't bother me, because I know my taxi guy is there. Yeah, I know the dance, right? And I know my step is him. I don't get distracted anymore by the thing. But the first time, I was like, huh, right? And so he comes forward, and I'm not expecting Usman, which now basically so many people look like Usman now. But before, I've never met a Usman like Usman. So I was like, okay, this is the person they say taking me. All right, I'm gonna go with Usman. Puts my stuff. I'm in the taxi with Usman and a driver, and the airport no longer is in the city, right? Remember I told you that. airport is all the way out in the boonies, as we would say. Ain't no lights in the boonies. I don't care what country you in. When you drive down Highway 2A, there ain't no lights when you pass Warrens.
2 a.m. anymore.
And you heading north. There ain't no lights on that
True.
highway talking.
Very
all
true.
right?
True. Good
Okay.
point. Good point.
So
yeah.
there's no lights in the boonies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, where's that car? I'm thinking to myself, I don't see that car. I don't see that car.
No, but I know your son must be a bit concerned.
Oh no, he's sleeping. He slept.
He's
He slept through. By the time we hit Casablanca, he was just on sleep mode because I guess poor little thing was tired. So he just slept. And I'm like, okay. And then we cut through the back, and we cut through the corner, we cut through the thing, and we went down a sand road, which now I'm accustomed to. Sand roads are the norm because apparently we live in the Sahel, and the Sahel is that point between the desert and what becomes green, verdant, lush land. So we're in, as this African American lady said when she moved back to America, she's like, I'm home in America. We have grass. Y'all don't understand. I was living in a sandbox. So she calls Dakar the sandbox because it's just a lot of sand. So yeah, so I'm going through these roads. I don't see no buildings. You know, Dakar is a city.
Yeah.
With high rises.
Big city too. Yeah.
Big city. Big main.
Yeah.
But we in the boonies. So I'm like, I still looking for the city. But anyhow, we rolled up. We got to the place, the Airbnb, the orange house or something I had rented. And that was it. But up to that point, between the airport and getting to the Airbnb, I was technically in no man's land because I didn't know where I was like.
Were you fearful?
Nah, if you carry fare, then you will get what you carry.
Okay.
So I don't carry fare. You can't carry fare. No, fare is like a beacon.
Okay.
And people who love fare will hear it and they'll come.
That's good.
Oof. You're spitting facts. Dropping gems.
But still, on top of fair, there's a lot of trust there. So you were trusting.
I like that. You gotta trust. I like that.
You were trusting Usman. Usman was becoming your connection to Dakar.
But this is the funny thing. Usman was just the house guy. The guy who manages the property, he turns up the next day and he organizes me to get me to the port and everything. And that's another scenario. But the thing that I would say, and I have to say this, and this is such an important thing. Senegalese men are a gem. They're a gem collectively. And I don't know if to attribute it to culture or to religion. But there, as a woman, it is bliss for me, and this is my personal experience.
Interesting.
It is bliss for me to walk down the streets and have no one go, "Psst, my friend, sexy, you look good, my sweet friend." Whether I'm in New York, you know, the American, you know, whatever, whether it's the American trying to kick it to me, you know, or whether it's the Bajan saying inappropriate things, there is a peace when I can walk down the road, and the most that I get is Rastafari, Bob Marley daughter, Bob Marley children, Rastaman, and that's
I must be Senegalese then.
So there is a peace. I have that peace. So it
no, that's good.
It makes it easier. It makes it easier. You don't understand. There's this peace.
Fabulous.
Yes, and as a woman,
that.
I don't know if the women, you will talk to the women in your world, but you know, these Western streets, you don't get that peace.
Yeah, because single woman moving with your young son to, and let me just put it there. Everyone is saying moving to Africa. We know we moved to Senegal, but we know everybody can put the blanket and put the necessary stereotypes and stuff to it there. I mean, the British something. And did you speak French? Are you fluent in French? And did you speak French before going?
Listen, let me tell you about my French, right?
That's not like a no, but it's try a thing.
No, I have good French because on Friday I went to a conference. There was a conference at the Institute, what we would call Alliance Française, the Institute Français downtown Dakar, and it was basically about culture and the codes of culture and how culture is, how we're supposed to address culture and how, you know, to promote it and blah blah blah. I go to those conferences. They're not in English at all. You know, I go to those things because I can sit and I can listen. I am awesome. Right now I have a personal blockage where for some reason I refuse to speak. But I can speak really good French. If I'm angry, which I have not been angry in a long time, thank God, I string together the most beautiful French because I want people to understand me. But right now, for some reason, I think it's because I'm writing my book, which my second book, which is really weird because for some reason now I went from a stage of speaking to now I don't want to speak. I can listen. So you could tell me everything in French. I'll be like, and I know everything you're saying. But for some reason, I'm not letting the words out. So that's where I'm at. And I know it's just
Is there fear? Is there? I know you don't like fear, but is there fear of not being understood or
no, people
what?
understand me because
Okay.
Senegal is a very forgiving country. Now, you guys live in, I mean, you've met Africans before.
Yeah.
So you must
Once,
know
once.
that one of the beautiful things, one of the skill sets of African people is that they, I think they're masters of language because at least two, they must have at least two languages in their
Yeah.
pocket. Every African person, I'm gonna step out on that plank and say that
Yeah.
99% of African people must have at least two languages in their pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Minimum.
I would agree that.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I agree.
You understand? And then they'll say, oh, and then they'll talk about the other bits and pieces of the other languages that they know, which they know really well because they can have a whole long conversation in it. So here we are, the Senegal is not like, say, Gabon or even Cote d'Ivoire, where they're more sticklers for the French. Senegal allows you sometimes to make messy of the French. When I lived in the South, the people in the South, I was in a village, they ain't trying to hear the French. They were Kasumai, Kasumai Bare, Kasumai Ket. I had to speak Jola. And I was like, I don't want to learn Jola. I want to learn Wolof, because Wolof is actually the official language of Senegal, Wolof and French. So French is for when you're doing business. If you are a foreigner and you're doing, speak some French, okay? If you, when you're doing business, you use French. But really and truly, if I didn't know any French in Senegal and I spoke only Wolof, I will live because Wolof is the currency. So they say the joke is that you write French, but you speak Wolof. That's what they say. So my Wolof is really my fare because I know I speak it funny, but I love
No,
Wolof too. It's a
no.
beautiful language.
How long did it
It's a
take you to learn it?
beautiful. I'm still learning. I know as much Wolof as I know French. And if you speak to me in Wolof, again, I understand you. But, I have, because growing up in Barbados, we make this whole thing about if you don't pronounce the word properly, if you don't speak properly,
Proper English, man.
proper English. And then in America, you have that thing where, if people don't speak a certain way because they're immigrant or what have you not. So those are traces. I'm gonna let y'all know. Those are traces that are in my mind. So I feel like if I don't have language down pat, sometimes I get nervous. But I do all things. I obviously have to eat and I have to pay bills and do business. And do business.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I have to do adult things. So my French works and my Wolof
Yeah,
works.
that's good.
So tell us a bit.
Excellent.
Tell us a bit about your son on the journey, actually.
Okay, so the first thing is that on the journey, that's when he was so small, now he's just big and tall. But the first thing is that we had to agree. We had to agree that this is what we were doing.
that,
So
yeah.
when I said, let's do Senegal, and I showed him what is what, he was like, all right, cool, you see the difference, right? Because he's like 13 on the right, but then he's like 14, 15 on the left. He grew up on me. Anyway, so we had to agree. We had to agree about what we were doing. Like, are we doing this? Are we going here? Are we staying at this place? Would you think about this price? Because this is not just a trip. This is a life lesson. He has to learn how to manage money. He has to learn how to make a decision. So that's what we were doing. And then he had to write reports for me. Like, he had to write a report about his travels, like all the different ways that he can travel in the world. Everything from minibus to pirogue to ferry to
That's the Asian parent coming up right there, boy.
No.
That's the
So he had to do all of that. And his first time when he got here, Senegal humbled him. And it humbled me too. This is the thing. This is what I'm going to let y'all know. when you're coming, just prepare to humble. Just it. Just humble. Just humble.
What humbled him and
What do you mean by
you?
that?
And let me explain.
Go.
So we come from a place where we will complain that the pasture got, y'all are cricketers. The
Only
pasture
one
is
of
not,
us. Only
it's
one of
not,
us.
it's
Only
not
one of us.
Fill it.
Only one
level,
of us there is a cricket.
or the pasture is this or that, or if it's in dry season, you know how the pasture could crack up in
Patchy.
dry
Yeah.
season. Patchy,
Yeah.
we always got something we complain about the grass or we saying the actual turf, and we go on and on about that.
Good for
My son,
spinners.
my son plays football. He chose football over cricket because I don't like the idea that they have to choose. I think they should play both. But that's another conversation. But they made him choose, and he chose football, which I was glad because as much as I like cricket, I associate cricket with partying and drinking. And I was like, I don't want to be that mom. I prefer football where I can just sit and be like, yay, and be a soccer mom. So
Okay.
I was
Soccer.
having
Right.
Kensington. I was having Kensington
Your
Oval
vibes,
when
yeah.
I was
In
20s. I
dreams,
was like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
be,
yeah.
I preferred the more irie version of the football. So he chose
Okay.
football.
That's
He
true.
played in clubs in Barbados, and then Senegal is number 25 in FIFA in the world, and it's number one in Africa now. Because we won the Africa
Very true.
Cup.
Yes.
There
So
you
when you
go.
want, so he's
Mali
moving
and all
from
that.
number 130 something on the FIFA to a country that's number 25. They're not number 25 in FIFA for no reason. You understand what I
True.
mean? Eh?
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
number
There's got to be some
25.
investment there.
Right?
Mm.
Listen, first of all, there is grass, but the kids here, when he had to go, he wanted to know where to go, and he was like, "Yeah, go to the terrain." That's what they call the football field, the terrain. Go to the terrain. Homeboy turns up at the terrain. There ain't no grass on the terrain. The terrain
Full
is
of dogs and
sand.
enough.
It is sand. The terrain is sand. What they call terrain is sand. They play football on sand.
Yeah.
Now, y'all have a beach train?
Of course.
Yeah.
Some of us have.
Yeah.
Some of us
A
have.
little bit. I ran out on beach a few times. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
know if you
Dead
remember
sand.
on the beach, yes, and sand is life here. That's the other culture shock for me when I got here because your mothers tell you don't go in the sand, you get worms. No, sand is life. These children lay in it, they roll in it, they smear it all over. These children are one with the sand. The sand is natural. Nobody is like ooh the sand. No, sand. So he goes to the terrain to play the football, and he's playing on sand. So he's tired.
Yeah.
And these children, they don't play slow; they play with pace.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
children scrimmage.
Yeah,
These
boy.
children scrimmage on a level that we play real football on. Like their scrimmage is what we would call a real game. Like they next level. They are next level, and they scrimmage. And the beautiful thing is that when you come outside, Senegalese are very collectively. The men are very well. Yeah, it's the men you will really see into health. So they always see them running. They're always running. They love to run. Oh, love to run. If you drive along the Corniche, they have a whole. I mean, this is like miles and miles of Corniche, and they have all these exercise things set
Yeah, I
up,
saw that. Yeah.
and they would just exercise every evening like religion. They all come out, all the men, and then the beach train. Sometimes I beach train in the morning. I go down when I'm feeling brave, and then I can't exercise for the rest of the week. But you go down to go to the beach, and they love to run. They'll run in a circle. They teach you that you don't need a whole ton of space. They will pick a small space and make a circle, and they will run in that circle, and they will run that circle for an hour, and they'll make up their miles that way. And they always do these different exercises, these squats, these this, that. It's like all just
Well.
that's just their default setting. That is Babacar who work at the bank. And when he finished work at the bank, he puts on his clothes and he going to the beach and he working out like if he going to play FIFA tomorrow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was a shock for my son. And then I had to get him into, I was like, take your time. It's a learning curve, But then after that, he was out there scrimmaging, but it was a shock because to play in sand eats you. I mean, these children they come out of the sand.
Yeah.
So he had to learn. Yeah.
And how long was it with for you over there?
Sorry.
How
say that
long
again.
how long did he stay?
He was here, so he did the back and forth thing with me 2018 up to last year. So last year when we came home because he had to do exams. He was going to school he was doing an online school in Florida. So he had to, even though you do online school in Florida, so people whose children travel and people who no, whose families, whose parents travel a lot and they work and they do whatever, there's this online school that existed before COVID. So it was so funny
Possible.
when the Florida education people were struggling with trying to figure out what to do, because I was like, you already have a 20-year-old template right here that functions really well. Where are you looking somewhere else to figure out how to do online school when you have it here? So I actually took him out of the brick and mortar school and put him into the online school, because I was like, they can experiment on them other people's children, but nobody ain't trying to figure out our template. You ain't no prototype. You come over here. This is 20 years proven, and this is the number 8 school in the country. It's in the top 10 of America. So I put him in there, but you have to come home to do the exams. So we came here, and then 6 months later we went back. We came in 2020, and then we went back in April, so he could do his exams. But the way they do the exams, he had one exam in April and the other one was in the end of May. And I was like, you know what? We're so close to home. We're so close to home. Let's go home. We haven't seen family since 2018, and I got banking to do. I got to pick up my driver's license. Let's go home. So we went home. Is that me or I'm hearing like a feedback? Hold on.
No, is all good.
Okay. Sorry, I heard something in my ear. So we went home and we took a break from each other, because clearly we were traveling together for years, 2 years, and we took a break because you really need a break. I mean, I see him every day, and so he stayed with his family. I stayed with my peoples, and then he was like, Mom, I want to hang with my dad. And I was like, okay, because one of the first things that I told him before we left, when we were planning, I said, at any point when you're ready to go home, you have a home, you can go home. At any point in this journey, when you're ready to go home, you can go home. So he decided this was when. So it was last year. So this is officially a year I have not seen my boopy.
Your booby.
My
Wow.
boopy. Oh my God, I called him that online. Yeah.
Yes, you
So I
did.
haven't-
Yes, you did.
That's going to live on.
Yeah,
Well, I'm on.
yeah.
My boopy.
You're gonna have to.
No, but because that's
Indeed.
the thing. You have to, when you're making your plans, I gave him that. I said, because I don't want him, even if I were going to wherever, your children should have a choice, because, children don't really always get choices, but he has choices. I'm like, when you're ready, just say when.
Okay.
So he said when.
So earlier you talked about, it was Tarunga, you said?
Taranga.
Taranga. Who is your community? Who would you consider your community? Did you feel the need to find a Rastafari community in Senegal, or did you find other ways of connecting with people through sport, art,
Oh, that's really...
other soccer moms?
Okay, so the soccer mom does not exist here unless it's an expat. Only expat moms are soccer moms. So the average Senegalese woman is like a Bajan. She is not turning up for no football match. So like how traditionally Bajan mothers would send you out to go and play football.
Yeah.
Right. So the expat mom is more likely to be the soccer mom. They'd be like, go Billy. But you won't really see that here. My community is very eclectic because Rastafari is respected here, but they're the battle that we had in the 80s, and we still have a little now, but the battle, there's Casey, she's Bajan, right? Tell me you guys know that she's Bajan. So the thing that we had in the 80s where people were like, Rastas were horrible people, Rastas will steal your fruits, Rasta. Senegal is a little bit past that, and they are very heavily influenced by Jimmy Cliff, by Bob Marley. I always get a Bob Marley story, but many of the men have to cut their hair, and that's always been a conversation piece, which is that a lot of men want to be Rasta, but then their parents told them to cut it. So that aspect that we went through. Like now in Barbados, we're a little bit beyond that a little bit, but it's still a reality here to some extent. They have a brotherhood called the Bifal. The Bifal are I would say, the Islamic equivalent of a Rastafari, if Rastafari had an Islamic equivalent. They wear dreads, they wear locks. They're very spiritual, humble, sweet people in service. They're a branch of Islam that you find here in Senegal alone. This is not Islam that you will find anywhere else. And you'll see them because they have the bongo, the Congo bongos, and they wear patchwork. They wear these very pretty patch colored outfits, and they will come with a calabash for you to give them money because they're always doing something, whether it's they're building a mosque or what have you not. They built one of the largest mosques in West Africa. I went to visit it earlier this year. Just beautiful, like beautiful thing. But they're not Rastas. When I tell Senegalese I don't eat meat, they have the reaction that a traditional Bayesian parent would have, like, you don't eat meat? Like, what do you eat?
How are you living?
How are you living? Right. So I would say Rasta in that sense. And then I would say the few Rastas that I have met, like the men, so to speak, they're similar to the rent dreads that we would have at home that, work on St. Lawrence Gap. So I'm going to keep it real. That's what it is. So my community are people that I meet at events, or people that I met like when I was working. I used to be the bookstore manager of an English language bookstore here. People that I've met there that I've made relationships with, like these two ladies, Farah, she's from Malaysia. She's an author of children's books. And then Amanda in the middle, she's Nigerian, French Nigerian. And she's an author of children's books as well. We're actually at her home on the day that she launched her third children's books. And these are two ladies that I met when I was saying we just stay in touch. So yeah, and then my community is basically, these are my people. So these guys live in my community. It's so funny because this was taken the final game when we were playing Egypt to win the Africa Cup. And everyone was outside. It was like carnival. It was basically like carnival. And I walk literally 1 block down the street from me, and they all come and like, let's take a picture. And that's me taking a picture with my neighbors, and they live all around. I mean, I only recognize them after. Because it didn't matter. It was just like carnival. It was like, I mean, look at this guy. He's wearing a diaper. How can you say no to taking a picture to a man in a diaper? How can you say no? So it's really cool. But they're guys from my neighborhood. I don't have a TV, so I watch the game downstairs. I live above a baker. There's a baker downstairs. He's a different kind of baker. He has a couch and a television and one oven, and he makes amazing cakes. That's the long and short of that. And I was like, yo,
that's only his advertisement.
Yo, he's really good though. He's really good. He
That's all I need to know.
Listen, he does. He's always making a cake for a wedding or a birthday or whatever. And I was like, yo, and then all the guys hang downstairs at him too. He's like a community magnet. And all the guys hang there, young little fellas. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch, football at you. He's like, no problem. So I watched both the last 2 games at him, and then everybody ran up the street. I had a big party.
Wow, fantastic. Love it.
It's good.
Cool.
So you haven't
Amazing.
gone away
Amazing.
from your roots of writing, and you know that you're working on something at the moment. So you want to tell us a bit about your work?
Oh wow. Okay, so I have I'm kind of working on Kingstown Burning. I'm kind of working on my second novel. It's called Because Nobody Sleeps. And it's very interesting. I don't know if it's a continuation of Kingstown Burning, but it could be, because really and truly, I never finished putting all my thoughts into Kingstown Burning. I just wrapped it up at a certain point, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave the rest of this for the next time I come back to writing. But I would say it's a continuation of Kingstown Burning. Okay. This right here, apart from the fact that I gave birth to an amazing boy that's now going to be 17 years old, and all the other things I've done that come after that, I think this is my next baby. If I had 2 children, this would be my second one. This is like one of my biggest accomplishments, because I self-published as well. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think, and they rightly should, because Lady Grey Publisher is a legitimate publishing company, because I run that. But yeah, I self-published. I took all of my as you see right there, my communication specialist, creative consultant, writer abilities, and put them into
Creating
creating.
yourself as a publisher.
Yeah, so I
Hmm.
think publishing, not only just being an author, but publishing is the next way to go. So I'm working on developing that aspect of my business more.
I agree.
Um, yeah, the publishing aspect. And I'm writing my second novel, which is very interesting because I walk around the house, it comes to me, and I walk around the house with my phone and I make a whole bunch of notes. And when I have too many notes, then I put them into the article. So I'm currently at that place in my life. And then I
Okay.
have, yeah, that's it.
Give us a little general feel of the new novel.
Oh, the general feel is a new novel. Well, I had some real bad man scenes that I hadn't added to the last novel, and then I have
Bad man
some real
scenes.
romance
Romance
scenes
as well.
that
Ooh.
I hadn't included. And then there are other social, because it's always social commentary with me. So there are other social things that I didn't get to poke at in the other novel that I will give some space to in this novel.
Featuring any
So yeah,
featuring any Senegalese man?
the first novel hasn't a Senegalese character, and that's before I even came to Senegal because I finished the novel in 2018, and there's actually a part where I can tell you this, it's not a spoiler. Um, there's Marty Cadogan, and her father owns Cadogan Towers, which is in Warrenstown, on the border of Warrenstown, I think. And at the top of Cadogan Towers, if you ever read the book, you'll
I
that's
will
me
read it.
again.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because only when you read the book, you say, you know what? Rachelle just built an entire building in an open lot. So there's Cadogan Towers. And at the top of Cadogan Towers is a restaurant called Casamance, which is a play on Casamance. Because Casamance really means the house, Casa, and Mance is really king, the house of kings. That's what the word Casamance interprets into. So he owns
Okay.
the Casamance restaurant, which is a rooftop restaurant and lounge on the top of her father's condo towers, the Senegalese guy that is in the book. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't
So
wait.
it's
I waiting on the
interesting.
audio version as well of Kingstown Burning.
I'm recording that here as well. It's so funny. I found the studio. It's like literally 5 blocks around the corner from me. So it's really cool. And again, it's opening your mind. It's a lovely space. It's owned. I feel like if I have to. Okay, so it's owned by this guy who is an artist here. He sings really amazing music, and he decided to open a studio, a studio. And when I asked Baku, who is a producer here, a guy who I've never met, but we have the amazing DM conversations anytime we need to know something. He's like, "Yo, there's a studio right around the corner from you." So I ask questions. I think that's why I find things because I ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you've got a
No,
curious
that's
mind.
good. That's
Which is
good.
good.
Yes,
Well,
and you should
this is
always have a
fantastic
curious
conversation.
mind
I like it.
within reason.
Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, how are you going to bring it home for us then? Because this has been inspiring on so many levels, and for all of the people
Definitely.
who are watching and listening, and I've already had somebody message me to say, "I'm moving to Africa this year. I've got to watch back this show." you know, give us a piece of advice to hold on to.
Okay. I would say, and this is a big piece.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, you should always move with a humble because once you're humble, humbling yourself means that you're open to discovering that you don't know. You don't know. You really don't know. So if you approach it like, you know what, if I came to Senegal, if I go anywhere and I'm like, yeah, I know everything. I read 2 books about you guys and I read 5 movies and blah, blah, blah. Then you create an environment or an energy where it's like the things that people might want to show you or teach you, they don't want to because you think you know. Yeah. So my approach is I want to know. And my approach is if you're kind enough to show me, I will appreciate it and I will respect it and I will give thanks for it. And I'm not going to assume that because you do things different or you do something that I don't do, that somehow our levels are different. I approach it that I'm coming from where I'm coming from, and you are who you are, and let me learn from you. Senegalese people remind me of older Bajan men. Like older Bajan men like their traditional Bajan foods, like kuku and stuff. Like you can't really go and cook like fancy shrimp dish, garlic something for older Bajan man.
Don't
He'll
get
look at you
salsa
like,
salad.
he has a schedule, like how he eats, like is this and this, is this on this day, mutton on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Senegalese men, Senegalese as a culture are like that. So to them, if you're not eating their national dish chebujen, like I went to the market the other day with an artist because he wanted me to cook something. I said, okay, I'll cook an idle dish, and the guy who was selling us the fruit, the vegetables, he was like, "What's she making? Chebujen?" He was like, "No, Rasta Ital." The man looked at him like, "Oh, okay. Like, how is she not cooking chebujen, which is a national dish? Like, what could she possibly be cooking that you would want to eat? That's not our national dish. Like, what crazy?" So I would say, do your research.
Yeah.
I would say, follow your heart. I also asked on a spiritual level if this was where I was supposed to be or with Ghana. And on a spiritual level, it said, come here. And don't do anything that you're doing because of anybody else. So this is not about, oh, I'm first, or oh, I'm different, or oh, I'm being a rebel. This is just how I felt. And I think that's why things fall into place. You will notice because of how you feel, things will fall into place for you. And there's nothing to be afraid of because you guys live with the colonizers. That's all I have to say. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Oh, see.
And that's it, because you are in Britain, and if you really, and this is the truth, if you really think about where you are and what has happened because of the people that you are with, then I think I'm in a safer place.
Yeah.
Oh.
We see that every day.
You know. So that's it.
Who buying the ticket? Philip.
No, but and here
I just gotta lock my door right now.
No.
I gotta lock my door now.
I'm gonna come and colonize my house.
No. Even on the deeper level, just take a vacation, because you guys are really in a good position. You guys live in London, and the tickets. I'll tell you a secret I'll tell you a secret. So many Europeans vacation here.
Yeah.
Tourism is really big in Senegal. Not only Senegal, Africa, continental Africa is very, where they're not having social unrest. Tourism is really a big thing. And there are a lot of, when you get on the plane to come here, you'll be surprised. And then like the Casamance where I stayed in, there's Four Seasons, not Four Seasons, there's, oh gosh, they have a big brand. There's all kind of stuff they do. They call them compliments. They do a lot of tourism. Tourism is huge here.
Calling us tourists.
No, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot to unlearn and to unthink and to unperceive when it comes to thinking about Africa in general. Because I'm sure if you ask most West Indians where they want a vacation or where in the world they want to see, I mean, beyond, people would probably talk about China, Philippines, Japan before they talk about Nigeria, Guyana, the Gabon, or what have you.
Senegal.
That's just Senegal. I mean, that's just, so there's a lot that we need to unlearn and to unpack and to remove that's in our subconscious when we think about Africa.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like, just with anywhere where you have there are unsafe areas in every country. In every city,
every country,
every place has their own unsafe area. So I'm not saying that you're supposed to go into a war zone or immerse yourself. Like I was having a conversation with, like right now there's unrest in Burkina Faso, because I was talking to some ladies from Burkina Faso, and there's like, now right now that's not where you want to go. So I was like, well, what about Benin? They're like, yeah, Benin is pretty cool. Benin has a lot of culture. Benin is cool right now, but right now Burkina Faso is having problems. There was a time where Casamance was having problems back in the 90s. So Casamance was not always this calm, beautiful place that you could visit in Senegal. So just like, in Barbados, we had Tree Fife Disco and we had Shoe House and Chop Ups. So everybody has their thing, and now we're back to being however we are. So I would say just take a vacation.
We coming.
I agree.
We coming.
We
Your
coming. I coming down.
Airbnbs, they're booking online. If the person is online and they're in Airbnb and they're with a reputable, online platform, then what's the problem? What's the problem? The planes are coming here for a reason.
Yeah.
So, question: Have you had friends from Barbados?
So the picture you showed of King Casey on Instagram, if you guys want to follow her, she's an artist, a painter. She was in Kenya, and she was in South Africa. She was in Greece. She was all over the place. There she is. And she came to Senegal for I think in December for 3 weeks or so. So it was really good to hear a Bajan accent walking down the street. And we went to an art gallery and we just hung out some. And yeah, this is us. That's us, King Casey. So she came. And I have other friends who have been here and they want to come back. But don't forget, COVID had made things a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But
True.
just take a vacation. And the thing is, it's there's nothing. Okay, I came without knowing anyone here.
Yeah.
I'm sure when people went to Europe,
true.
when the people took the Windrush, nobody knew where they were going. They just knew the Queen said come. So just just take a little vacation, try it out, and everything will not agree with you. You might not be into Senegal. You might more be a Tanzania person. You might more be a South Africa vibe. You might more like Niger. You might like Nigeria. So figure out what works best for you.
What works best?
A good point. Because I think sometimes one country on the continent and we judge the whole continent, but we don't do the same thing when you think about Europe or the different states across the United States. You get a bad experience, you move down to Philadelphia. We okay with that, but you might judge the whole continent on a bad experience in one country. So you're right.
Because I live in Florida. Florida be having me shook. If you want me to put it in proper English, Florida can, sometimes you feel like, yo, all right, is something going to jump off? Because Florida is not easy, So, yeah. Yes, Rwanda is everything. I would love to go to Rwanda as well, definitely. And Rwanda is not easy. When I say Rwanda is not easy, these people came out of genocide.
Yeah.
You understand what it is to come out of genocide, and now to position yourself as a leader, as a beacon. I think that is also amazing. So just Google is there. Google has, you guys are tech guys, you can find everything, you can hack stuff, I guess. Anyhow, but Google is there, and then you must have connections. You're actually in Britain, which makes it fantastic because you have African connections, and the flights are actually cheaper from Europe to Africa, believe it or not. It's cheaper right now where you are than it would be if you were trying to fly some from Barbados too. And then there are international carriers. If you're coming from Barbados or the Caribbean, you can just do American Airlines or even Delta. You can do your JetBlue to New York. You can do direct flights to Dakar, to wherever. There are direct flights from New York to all these African countries. Yeah, you can do it. Just come and
You can make it happen.
Yeah. Here's a little thing, and I just want to, this has always bothered me, and I don't know why,
Go ahead.
it happens, but we always talk about Pan-Africanism, and we always have our Pan-African leaders telling us about Africa, and we should bring back African, and we should wear African, and we should read African, and we should think African. But what I always find missing, apart from a Garvey who will tell you, I'm doing the Black Star Line or what have you not, you never hear our current modern day Pan-Africanness telling you where they vacation in Africa. They don't make they never suggest, they never say, you know what, I was just in Africa vacation in
point.
Blah, 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 blah. I just went to Egypt to vacation.
That's so true.
Might come for a conference.
So true.
They might come for a conference that the government has paid for, They might come because somebody invited them to do a lecture. But where do they vacation? Where do our Pan-Africanness vacation? That's a question we should ask them next time they want to tell us about the continent. Where do you suggest? Where do you stay?
Okay. Okay.
I
It
I'll
starts
stick with
there.
that.
I agree.
That's it.
At 100. Look,
And that's all,
Child,
and
this has
that's
been
where it
such a
starts.
fan. You've stopping by the living room and enlightening.
Yeah,
He's frozen. Sorry.
you're going, Barra,
No
and
problem.
no, and it's no,
Mark, I can let you do the closeout because I'll go ahead.
no
Yeah.
problem, Rachelle. It's been absolutely splendid. Just listening to you and
Aw,
recognizing your courage to step out.
thank you.
I know you speak of it very simply and very easy, but it wasn't easy. But
It's
it
not
takes a lot
enough.
of it takes a lot of courage to do what you've done, and it's very inspiring. And
Thank you.
you're very authentic in the way that you talk about it, which I really, really respect. And we thank you
Hmm.
so much for coming and
Thank
spending some
you.
time with us in the living room today. So, guys in the audience, you know how we like to do it. You know, let Rochelle know how much we really appreciate her coming and passing through and sitting down and spending some time in the living room with us today. We're really thankful. Awesome.
Thanks
Indeed.
for having me. Thank you so much. I'm
No
honored.
problem.
Thank
Lovely.
you.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem at all.
We'll follow
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thanks.
Brilliant conversation.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
that's
You
good.
know, and not that we needed the invitation,
Great
but
conversation. Great conversation.
the invitation has been extended on numerous occasions there for us. So,
Yeah.
a living room special from Senegal. There's something there for sure for us to explore. Thoughts, Phil?
No, it was it. I got excited by it. I was
Mhm.
really enjoying that. Even thinking of her journey of landing and the reality of just driving from the airport through the absolute darkness. That is the reality of it. But then
Mhm.
At
arriving at your
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, yeah, but arriving at your destination. And I like how she spoke about the people
Mhm.
that were there because that's what makes a place. Connecting with the people in a place, um, feeling safe, but also being open to the mystery of that location and the
Mhm.
opportunity there. So yeah, so really really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think you can't underestimate that conversation between a mother and her son, and a transaction of, look, this is what we're going to do. How do you feel about it? And just taking it on themselves to go on the journey, explore together, learn together,
Hmm.
and then the time is right for the separation to happen. That happens too. So
Yeah,
awesome, awesome story, man.
Yeah,
Really,
she
it's
live
really.
just
atop a
a
bakery. That one.
that's handy though. Handy.
In,
Yeah.
in fact, in fact, let me just pull this one here because I know this is one that you would enjoy.
Very
I know
handy.
these saucepans,
Yeah.
these
Well,
saucepans here.
I was gonna ask about that. I was gonna put them in there because the one at the bottom, I did trying to figure
yeah.
out what going on here.
We're cooking in this.
You know what I'm
That's about
saying,
two
right?
weeks. 2 weeks of food. 2 weeks of
I
food in
mean, that is
The weeks.
but you see the pots at the back. Look at the pots behind the tree behind. You see
that.
the
What's
tree
like that?
behind.
Yes. Yes.
This
But
I
even
is
mean, them
seeing
is
those tells
serious
you,
pots.
and that is so, yeah. But seeing those and they're so accessible tells you about the people. These are
you
community
know
people.
Community.
You
I
know what
see
I mean?
community
These
when
are
I
community
see these
people.
size
Yeah,
of
yeah,
man.
pot.
boy. Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Mm.
that's what I see. I see them, but great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before we close out,
But look, we
I think
can't go today. But oh, go ahead, Mark. I was gonna.
we can't go today without and
Don't worry about me.
we've
You go
seen it a
ahead.
couple of times.
Exactly.
We've seen it a couple of times in the comments. The passing of George Lamin.
Yeah.
Um, having a writer in the living room today gives us a really good indication of the importance of those who write, who tell our stories, and who inspire us. And as I was looking back on George Lamin's life and thinking, you know what, he left the Caribbean, he came to the UK, lived around the Caribbean, and his writings inspired so many, many people. And this is the life of an icon, absolutely, and someone who has put our Caribbean in a space that we can all be proud of. Writer, novelist, poet, essayist, and we honor his life. Phil?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, everybody would be saddened by his passing, his departure, but it's great that we still have his works.
Mhm.
I'm definitely gonna reread some of his works. Coming up now. But yeah,
Yeah.
great that we
Legacy,
remember.
man. Legacy. That's the that's the thing that you know you can always look back at. You just say he just left a huge legacy across the region. I mean, when we put it on our page, it wasn't really just
Mm-hmm.
people up and down. You know, Belize, Suriname, Guyana, included in that. Everybody,
Have been
people from
impacted and
Africa who were
influenced.
responding
Yeah,
and just recognizing, yeah, of his work, the legacy, the depths and breadth of his work, and insights into the Caribbean, and just constantly championing Caribbean as well, and giving a Caribbean perspective is just absolutely amazing. Great loss for the region.
yeah. Not just a Caribbean perspective on the Caribbean, but on the world. Caribbean perspective on
On the
what the world
world,
is like as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Seriously, seriously, very good. Go ahead and close out, Carbon, because my microphone got cut off again.
Okay. All right. Well, look, guys, it's great to be back. And thank you so much for joining us in the living room today. And we will catch you on the next one next Sunday. Take care.